I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Keene City of Keene Planning and Zoning Commission. Time is 1800 hours. If you'll rise for the invocation, and following the invocation, we'll give the Pledge of the Allegiance to the United States flag. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we ask your presence in this chamber as we deliberate business concerning the citizens in the city of Keene, Texas. We ask that our conversations be cordial and concise, that we might further the business of this body. This we ask in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight. We just have a couple of items on our agenda. First one being remarks from myself, which I have none at this moment, and I'll defer to city administration if Don has anything he'd like to say.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming. If you hadn't noticed, a lot of things are happening around town. You know, we had Allsup's open recently. Tractor Supply is moving along really well. And we have some other interests and some other small businesses maybe coming to town soon. Hopefully we can bring that information to you as well. The home developments that are going on are all moving along with good progress. The Canyon, Stonehurst behind us, Ashton Home Place, and Sunset Ridge. I believe we have 45 new homes under construction at Ashton Home Place. So things are looking up for the city, and this is kind of part of it. What we're going to be talking about tonight on this rezone request is kind of the future in line with our comprehensive plan.
Okay, thank you. We will be holding a public hearing shortly, but at this time, if there's anybody from the audience that would like to make any comments, they're welcome to do so if they come to the podium. Any yellow cards? Okay. All right. At this time, we're going to hold a public hearing and take possible action following this hearing. The time is 18:02 hours. We'll enter into a public hearing. It's a zoning change request application received for 3 tracts of land. Tract 1 in the BB&C Railroad Company Survey Abstract 114, which is a 2.824 acre tract. Tract 2 in the J. Pennington Survey Abstract 701, which is a 2.871 acre tract. And Tract 3 in the D. Mize Survey Abstract 567, which is a 2.438 acre tract. All of these are currently zoned SF2, which is single family 2, and the request is to change the zoning to C2, which is general commercial district, office, light retail, and neighborhood services. So at this time, if there's anybody from the public, or if someone would like to give a little bit of background information on this project, you're welcome to do so one at a time at this time. Yes, sir. Come forward, please, and if you could just state your name for our records.
Yes. Good evening.
And if that little green light's not on that microphone.
Should be on.
Okay.
It is on.
Thank you.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. My name is Steve Reed. I'm an attorney from Granbury, Texas, and I represent the property owner. I'm glad during this public hearing to answer any questions that the Planning and Zoning Commission might have. Our goal this evening with regard to this request is to that's okay, no problem. Is really to comport our current zoning in a consistent with the adopted future land use plan for the city of Keene. Your current land use plan anticipates that this property, as Mr. Martin indicated, would be zoned commercial. The commercial zoning that we are requesting is C2, which is light commercial. Just as a point of reference, you're probably already familiar, but this property is actually right across the street from the Allsups that just opened. And so our anticipation is that the property would likely develop in a manner that's consistent with the type of development that's currently taking place along that corridor, which would probably be something like fast food or you know, light commercial office use, that type of thing. And that's why we're asking for a C2 zoning. The current property owners are not developers. It is not their intent to develop the property. It was investment property, and the intent is to sell the property. So we do not have and cannot accordingly share with you what the proposed actual use would be, because that's really outside of our purview. But really, in order for us to be able to successfully sell that property, it needs to be zoned in a manner that's consistent with what the ultimate anticipated use, as the city has identified, would be. So really, we're just asking for the Planning and Zoning Commission and the city of Keene to approve a upgrade or change that would be consistent with your plan, so that what we're doing with that property would match and facilitate you know, what the city fathers have already you know, identified as the manner in which they would like to see that property develop.
Okay.
Beyond that, I'm glad to answer any questions that you might have.
How do you spell your last name?
It's Reid, R-E-I-D.
R-E-I-D?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you know how many properties are affected by this? I mean, I know there's some private residences up a dirt lane that goes into that area.
So if you look at your current zoning map, which I think is in your packet that you have this evening, you will see along the along the 167 corridor, we have one piece of property where the little red dot is, that is the only property on that corridor that's not currently zoned C2. If you look at the property, as you look at your page to the left, you will see that that property with the red dot is bounded on 167, the property immediately to its north, and the property immediately to its left or west, as is already bounded on two sides by property that is currently zoned C2. To the rear of this property, you'll see two tracks that are highlighted in yellow, and those two tracks are actually owned by the city of Keene, and I'm not aware currently of what the city of Keene's plans are with regard to that property, but I would not anticipate that the city of Keene's plans with regard to the development of that property is residential. And so with that being said, this property is bounded on three sides by either currently commercially zoned property or property that's owned by the city of Keene. And so that narrows really the scope of your question to the property that would be to the east and or to the right. I'm not sure what the actual direction is because there's no north arrow on this map. But
Basically south of US Highway 67.
yes, sir. And so I really can't speak to that, but at least on three sides, we're either matching current zoning or we're bounded by property that's owned by the city of Keene.
Okay.
And again, we're also requesting zoning that is compliant with and really conforms to what the city has already advised us through their future zoning use map.
Okay.
They would like to see it zoned.
Well, I see here in the 200-foot notification list, there's two addresses at 201 East Highway 67. One is 201 East Highway 67, number 11, and the other one is simply 201 Highway 67 East. So I assume those people own property.
And I think some of
Access
them may
off
have
of-
be here. We've met a couple of folks here this evening that do own some property in the area. But I wouldn't pretend to
Okay.
speak for them.
Obviously, if they're aware of it and it affects them, then they'll come forward, so, okay. Any other commission members have any questions for Mr. Reed?
Is everybody kind of familiar with the area that we're talking about? And also, I handed out to you before the meeting pages from our comprehensive plan that show what the future is, or what the future was envisioned back in 2018, 19, when that was last updated. It shows that whole area as being what they call Highway 67 corridor, or what was the other one they called it on the other map? Regional area.
Regional center
Regional area.
or,
And there's a kind of a definition on the last couple of pages that I took off of the comprehensive plan that talks about it, that area is designed, and they saw it in the future to be a commercial, light retail, office space, things of that nature. So it's all in line with what the future of Keene has in store. And if you look on the map that's up there, or the map that's in your packet, where it says 101, that is currently the Lone Star Mobile Home Park, but that was rezoned to commercial. There are two residences right behind that are kind of longer shape. There are two residences there, but those are also zoned commercial. And then everything to the right or to the east of that, along where it says C2 on 67, those are all zoned commercial, other than the couple of lots that you were mentioning, Mr. Jackson,
okay,
where there's residences. The two lots that are owned by the city of Keene, I believe those were purchased when we put the sewer line in that runs from Funtown RV along the right-of-way to the railroad tracks. The owners at the time didn't want to give an easement, so we just bought the two parcels.
okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Reed.
Thank you.
Do we have anybody else that would like to speak about this project?
Anybody have any questions or concerns or?
I was just wondering what exactly they were trying to change.
Yeah, so if you'll just come to the podium and just state your name for the record.
I'm Kent Kirkpatrick. I was just wondering which they was wanting to change.
Well, the three tracks are the ones with the red pins. Now, those roads don't actually exist right now, do they?
They do
It's-
not exist, and I will say, just for purposes of clarification, that was just a proposed possible development of that property, so really, the roads may or may not ever exist.
Right.
No,
The
they
actual-
do exist.
I think
They
the
do, as
actual,
far as you have access to your property. They are just gravel roads. They're
Yeah.
not improved roads at this
Yeah.
So they're
time,
not
never
improved
have
at
been.
all.
But yes, they won't be able to deny you access to your homes if that's your concern.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
so, the actual total space is over 10 acres if you include the right-of-way, but we're not trying to include that at this time, or?
I'm not I didn't look at the survey in great detail, but I don't think it included the right-of-way as far as their
Well,
description.
and really, that would be the proposed right-of-way, I would
It-
assume.
It really is just if I could, to clarify there, it's just a zoning, so it really does not in any way address how the city ultimately decides to require roadways. I think there are some existing usages there for roads, and that would be a future issue with a future developer, how they propose to develop that and how the city would speak to that.
Okay.
So this evening, really, I think if you assume that it's all included, it probably serves you well, because really, we're just talking about how it's zoned, not whether or not there's a road there or how that.
Well,
road
I understand that,
ultimately
but
plays out.
these 3 tracts of land that are up for consideration total 8.079 acres. But in my notes, it says the total project is 10.093 acres, so you're leaving out over 2 acres.
It shows on there 2.014 acres for right-of-way, and then it shows that front portion of that one tract, 2.824 acres, is already zone C, which is 0.962 acres.
Right. I mean,
So it must be.
so we don't have to consider the right-of-way for zoning? I mean, we don't have,
I think that's a fair and good question, actually, Mr. Jackson. And our intention would be that all of that property be included. And so between now and the city council meeting, that may be something that needs to be, that needs to be clarified.
okay.
But yes, the goal is that all of the property that appears on your C2 map there, including those proposed roadways, would be included in the zoning classification.
Okay, all right, thanks again.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
My name is Steven Smotovich. I just have a question as to, like, where the bottom red dot is, that's exactly where my house is. So are they saying they're going anywhere in that little triangle where the dot is, they could come in and put businesses?
Well, I mean, they're showing that they own, if you look at that first cul-de-sac, the northernmost cul-de-sac, where it comes off that straight road, and that third pin is, that red pin, they're showing that first, not quite square tract as being the 2.438 acre tract that Dan Griffith owns, or Provident Land Investors owns. And are you right behind that? Just that one somewhat of a square where that red pin is? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that long strip next to it, I don't have the name of the owner.
I'm looking at the satellite map. It looks like, is your house the one to the south of that road? Yeah. So it looks like there's a lot. The road goes straight and cuts off to the east, to your house. And there, it looks like there's a lot in front of your lot between where it goes straight. At least that's what it looks like from the satellite view, which would be that bottom pin.
No, just 3 of them
Three.
where the pins are, between the black lines.
Whenever there's a development like that, when commercial's coming in next to residential, they have to put up some type of screening, whether it be bushes, trees, or fencing.
That was gonna be my next question, that, and as far as
That would
roads
be
and
on the
access.
developer whenever,
Next one.
whatever business decided to go on there.
Okay. Any other commission members have any questions?
I have a
Any-
quick question for, what was your name again? Sorry.
Steve Reed?
No,
The attorney?
the-
Steve's?
yes. What was your name?
Steve?
Steve also. Do you know approximately how far your house is from the property line? Is it pretty close or?
I think that's why there's not an easement, yeah.
Section is, so there's,
Yeah, they couldn't dedicate that.
so there's this piece, and this is a utility easement.
It's a pretty long, narrow strip, Mr. Smetovich? Yes, sir. Yeah, I think it's that whole thing. All righty. Well, if there's no more comments from the public hearing, I'll close the public hearing. It's 18:21 hours. And we can move on to agenda item 5B, and that's discuss taking possible action on a zoning change request, as mentioned, from Dan Griffith regarding those 3 tracts of land. So if at this time anybody wants to ask questions among ourselves, this would be the time to do it. If everybody's satisfied with the information they have, and somebody would like to make a motion possibly approving the request to rezone these 3 tracts of land from SF2 to C2, I would entertain that motion at this time. This will be coming up a lot more often as people finally discover what I like to refer to as the jewel of Johnson County, which is the city of Keene. It just depends on how progressive and quickly we want to see that happen. Okay. Well, I will move to have the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend to the City Council the approval of Dan Griffin's rezone request for 3 tracts of land from SF2. And I assume since it's not in the red letter edition, I don't actually need to read those off again? Okay. Then the rezone request for 3 tracts of land from SF2, Single Family 2, zoning to C2, General Commercial District, which is office, light retail, and neighborhood services zoning. That being said, is there a second?
I'll second.
Who?
Chris.
Chris, okay. Okay. Therefore, we have a motion made by myself, Philip Jackson, seconded by Chris Rhodes. Is there any more discussion? Okay. At this time, I'll entertain a vote. Those in favor, raise your hand. Okay. Any against? Or abstain? And I will notify the public, we do have one alternate on our panel at this time, but without the fact that we have a quorum means he doesn't vote. All right, motion passed. Okay, next item is to review the minutes from the January 13th P&Z Commission meeting. You've all hopefully had a chance to look at. If there's any corrections or anything that needs to be brought forward before a motion is made to accept. If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes. Okay,
I make a motion that we accept the minutes.
all right. Is there a second? Okay. We have a motion made by Gilbert Perez to accept the minutes as written from the January 13th meeting. A second by Caleb Bowl. All those in favor, raise your hand. Okay, any opposed? None, okay. It passes. Okay, I guess now we need to, at the last city council meeting, the city council reappointed myself and Chris Rhodes to a 2-year term on the Planning and Zoning Commission. So at this time, we'll take the oath of office as administered by Ms. Russell, our city secretary. Chris, would you like to go first? Okay.
If you would, raise your right hand. Okay, and I, your name,
Chris Rhodes,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I have not directly
that I have not directly
or indirectly paid,
or indirectly paid,
offered,
offered,
promised to pay,
promised to pay,
contributed,
contributed,
or promised to
or
contribute
promised to contribute
any money or thing of value,
any money or thing of value,
or promised any public office
or promised any public office
or employment
or employment
for the giving or withholding
for the giving or withholding
of a vote at the election
of a vote at the election
at which I was selected,
at which I was elected,
or as a reward
or as a reward
to secure my appointment
to secure my appointment
or confirmation,
or confirmation,
whichever the case may be.
whichever the case may be.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Okay. Then, if you'll sign that one. Just push it. Okay, raise your hand again.
Oh.
We're gonna do those.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas,
In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas,
I state your name,
I, Chris Rhodes,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of the City of Keene Planning and Zoning Commission member
of the City of Keene Planning and Zoning Commission member
of the state of Texas.
of the state of Texas.
And I will, to the best of my abilities,
And I will, to the best of my ability,
preserve,
preserve,
protect,
protect,
and defend the Constitution
defend the Constitution
and laws
and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Okay, and you'll sign here. Okay, one more. And right there. All right, thank you so much.
Holly,
Oh,
photo op.
get organized here. Okay, we'll start with the statement of office. You'll raise your right hand. And I state your name,
I, Philip Jackson,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I have not directly or indirectly paid,
that I have not directly or indirectly paid,
offered or promised to pay,
offered, promised to pay,
contributed or promised to contribute
contributed, or promised to contribute
any money or thing of value,
any money or thing of value,
or promised any public office
or promised any public office
or employment
or employment
for the giving or withholding
for the giving or withholding
of a vote at the election
of a vote at the election
at which I was elected,
at which I was elected,
or as a reward to secure
reward to secure
my appointment or confirmation,
my appointment or confirmation,
whichever the case may be, so help me God.
whichever the case may be, so help me God.
Sign right there. Okay, now for the oath, so raise your right hand. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas,
In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas,
I state your name,
I, Philip Jackson,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of City of Keene Planning and Zoning Commission Member
of the City of Keene Planning and Zoning Commission Member
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Okay. Two more signatures. And then my autograph book, there in the gray box. And then Don needs to take a picture.
Okay, we have no items to discuss in executive session, so we'll skip down to number 9. But before we entertain any future agenda item requests, I would like to, I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize Miguel Espinosa for his service on the commission for the past 2 years. Thank you for that. Hope to see you again sometime. All right. Are there any future agenda items any of the commission members would like to see? And has everybody received that updated book from our former city attorney, or?
Nope, I'm waiting to hear back which format, PDF or printed, some of you want, so.
Okay, all right.
You gotta tell me, I can't read minds.
We did get a second edition to this book that Robert F. Brown had produced along with another associate in his office on land use and zoning in Texas. So that should be coming to those who have received the notification. How's that? Oh, yes. All right. All right. Anything we need to be looking forward to, Don?
Not that, I kind of already mentioned, you know, there are some things that are looking pretty good in the near future, so hopefully we'll be bringing something back to you soon. So yeah, looking good.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, the time is now 18:34 hours. We can conclude this session of the City of Keene Planning and Zoning Commission. Thank you all for coming.